guys, what is up? This is Mustang's Blue Guy X from back to Forza Horizon 3, and I was gonna do the sports SUV showdown. However, the sheet of paper is currently in storage right now because we're getting our basement redone. But in the meantime, we have the modern supercar showdown. I did this because we have the new Viper ACR, the 911 GT3 RS, and the new Nissan GTR. So, none of which were in Forza 6. So I'm curious to see, will these new cars be able to hold up with the old cars, such as the Ford GT, the Noble M600, Ferrari 458 Speciale, stuff like that. So I did 3 tests to see which car would come out on top. Now, the Noble M600 was a vehicle that I was expecting to do really rather well in this. And it does have 650 horsepower going to the rear wheels. However, it's still remarkably controllable. It's one of the most powerful cars here, and it's a rear-wheel drive car. But it gets its traction down, at least off these corners, as good as a 4-wheel drive car. Yeah, you can get some wheel spin like there if you're not too careful, but it can carry a half-decent bit of speed unless you outbrake yourself. And then you have all sorts of problems. But it's a very good car, and thanks to that power, it is very fast in a straight line as well. It's not quite the fastest car here. That belongs to the Aventador, I believe, which had 700 horsepower. The only car more powerful than this. But it's still a remarkably good car. Yeah. Very, very solid. And, well, this is our least powerful car. The Porsche 911 GT3. A measly 493 horsepower is in this vehicle. However, it has remarkable handling. Absolutely incredible handling, and incredible brakes too. It is the only vehicle here with 4-wheel steer. The engine is in the back, so it gets very good traction for its rear-wheel drive nature. And it can just carry so much corner speed. And the brakes are incredible on it as well. Now, unfortunately, since it does have less than 500 horsepower, doesn't go particularly fast down the straightaway. It's not the worst, surprisingly, but it's also not the fastest. It takes some time in order to get up to its top speed of 193 miles an hour, and it certainly doesn't get up to it on this straight. But the handling section of this course, it absolutely flies in. It's kind of like a reverse Regera. The Regera was awful through the handling section, but flying through the straightaway. And this was struggling in the straightaway section, but if you don't lose the back end, just dancing through the turning section. And that kind of makes sense when it's the RS version of a Porsche, which are always known for their turning. Now for the times. In first place, we have the Porsche 911 GT3 with a 59.426. Second place, though, will go to the Noble M600 with a 59.860. The only car was less than a minute lap time on this course. Third place will go to the Lamborghini Aventador at 1 minute .194. I was surprised by that, given the Aventador's poor performance in Forza 6. But yeah, it did really, really well around the circuit. Fourth place will go to the Ford GT, a 1 minute .394. Fifth place, the 488 GTB, a 1 minute .761. Sixth place, though, McLaren 650S. That was a surprise in Forza 6, and it continues to impress with a 1 minute .961. Seventh place, just a couple hundredths of a second later, 458 Speciale, 1 minute .994. Good car, but that is the benchmark for all supercars, and I think cars are starting to exceed it now. 8th place, the Lamborghini Huracan. I love the Huracan. It has a special place for me. Got to ride one. It was great. But it's not that fast compared to the rest of the field. The 1 minute .395. 9th place will go to the Viper ACR from 2016, the 101.595. I thought it would be pretty similar to the 911 GT3, but I think it just has too much downforce for the straightaway. Because the 911 makes all of its speed to the handling, but it doesn't require a large amount of downforce for that handling to come into effect. But for the Viper, it has a ton of downforce, and I mean a ton. But and that really hurts the straight line speed. So I think that is why it's struggling around here. 10th place, the Audi R8 2016, 1 minute 2.296. 11th place, Corvette Z06, 102.763. 13th, or 12th, sorry, I can read, is a 570S, kind of like the cheapest McLaren they have to offer, so it kind of makes sense with a 103.3. And finally, a bit of a surprise for me, last place was the 911 GT2 RS with a 103.397. Yeah, both the GTR and the 911 GT2 tied. But, I forget what I did, algorithm or something. I forget what I did. But, the GTR ended up being the car that would be ranked ahead of it. Now, how can you talk about supercars without talking about their straight line speed? And, well, it's Nissan GTR. I was thinking that it would be like the other GTR, not very fast compared to this field, and since Motor Trend said it was a little bit of a disappointment during their top 10 cars of the year, the driver's car of the year, but it was actually, respectable in terms of straight line speed, 190 miles an hour. In fact, thanks to my manual shifting for the thing, I actually went a little bit faster in the actual runs. Now, the Lamborghini Aventador was, as you might expect, ridiculously fast. The aerodynamics, the spaceship, the speed, the most powerful car here. You expect it to do pretty well, and yeah, it did really well. That's how you describe it. It did really, really well. Now I did use manual shifting for this, so these runs aren't automatic just because I'm too lazy. But so the times, the speeds are a lot slower than they are in the actual ones. Now, with the Americans were differentially referenced in the GT, Corvette, and the Dodge, the Viper ACR. And, well, the ACR struggle, let's say. And that's because, look at the wing. The wing has 1,000 pounds of downforce on it alone. And that means it has lots of drag. So despite its 600 odd horsepower, doesn't go particularly fast, which is a little bit unfortunate for the Dodge. But, that's just how things work sometimes. On to the speeds in first place. Not really a surprise here. The Noble M600, 205 miles an hour. Second place, though, will go to the Aventador, with third place going to the Ford GT, each of them having 203 mile an hour top speeds. However, in the case of a tie, whichever car got the faster lap time would get the better point. So that's why the Aventador got second place, and that's why the GT got third. Fourth place would go, I'm going to go my table here. Fourth place would go to the Ferrari 48 GTB at just 199 miles an hour. Fifth place, 1 mile an hour later, is the 405 Speciale, 198 miles an hour. Sixth place, the Lamborghini Huracan, 192 miles an hour. Seventh place, the Nissan GTR, 192 miles an hour. That's a good showing from the GTR. I thought it would really struggle, but it fared quite well. Eighth place, the McLaren 650S. Ninth place, the Audi R8. Both of those two getting 190 miles an hour, as does the 911 GT2 in 10th place. but again, the lap times gave them their respected points. 11th place is the 911 GT3 with 186 miles an hour. Yeah, it's a track car, that's to be expected. 12th place is the Corvette Z06, as I was saying earlier, it lacks straight line speed. It also had 186 miles an hour, but it didn't have quite as good as a lap time. 13th place would be the McLaren 570S at 184 miles an hour. And then, not to be surprised with all the downforce, last place, the Viper ACR, a measly 165 mile an hour top speed. I didn't think it would fare too well, but I thought it would do a little bit better than that. Yeah, the Viper was not fast. Viper was not fast at all. For the final test, I wanted to test acceleration and speed and handling. Where I went around this corner, and a speed camera is on the bridge over here. And I wanted to see which car would get the highest speed on the speed camera. And, well, the Porsche was not very good at this. 101 miles an hour. I mean, it's not bad considering the short acceleration time, but also not the best run you could ever have, and it was clean too. Now, the 458 Special is probably my favorite iteration of the 458. I've only seen one of them. That was at the Concours d'Elegance. I saw one of them there. And this car was very good at this. Very good at this. Despite the fact that it's rear-wheel drive, the mid-engine does help it get some pretty good stability around the corner. And then the 500 plus horsepower from the twin-turbo V8 does get you where you're going pretty quickly. Now, the Ford GT was even better than both of them. Out of all these cars sent here today, I've seen the most Ford GTs. And yeah, the GT was very, very exceptionally good at this. I'm not quite sure why it doesn't have the most horsepower. It does have a lot, 627 horsepower. Weighs very little, 2,800 pounds. But it is still rear-wheel drive, and despite the wing, it doesn't really have, like, giant splitters and stuff like that. But yeah, it was a very good showing from it. And on to the speeds. The speed camera speeds were first place to go to the Ford GT, 110 miles an hour. Second place to go to the Aventador with 109 miles an hour. Third place would go to the McLaren 650S, another 109 miles an hour. I was very impressed with that. I was surprised that I got that high up. Fourth place, the Viper ACR 2016, 109 miles an hour. We had a lot of ties in this one, so I used the lap times quite a bit on this because he had a lot of ties. As you might expect, based on the similarities between the vehicles and the short test that we are doing. Fifth place, 488 GTB, 108 miles an hour. 458 Speciale, 108 miles an hour in sixth place. Seventh place, 106 miles an hour from the 911 GT3. Eighth place, 105 miles an hour from the Huracan. Ninth place, 105 from the 570S. 10th place, 104 from the R8 V10. 11th place, the 104 from the Corvette Z06. 12th place was a surprise to me. The Noble M600. A measly 103 miles an hour. I don't know what it was about that car. It just didn't do it. I had a clean run too. I didn't hit anything. I didn't do anything wrong. Did not get too much wheel spin. I can English, trust me. But it just didn't do well, and I was very surprised by that. 13th, 911 GT2 RS, and last place was the Nissan GTR at 100 miles an hour even. So, yeah, I was a little surprised by the Noble's poor performance from this, but that just happens sometimes. These cars throw up plenty of surprises. And on to the overall results. First place, a surprise to me, would go to the Lamborghini Aventador with 202 points. I was curious with that one, because it didn't win anything, but it did very well. It got on the podium every single time. So this overall scores gave it the win. Yeah, I was expecting a little different, but hey, the Aventor threw up some good surprises today. It is a very capable car. Second place, the Ford GT, 199 points. Again, it lost the podium once, but it didn't win once, so that helped it a lot. Third place was the Noble M600, with 178 points. Quite a bit of a jump down. And interestingly, it only needed to get 5th place in the results to get 1st place because of the abysmal result from the speed trap. Yeah, I'm still shocked by that a little bit. 4th place, the Ferrari 488. I mixed 4 and Ferrari. With 170 points. 5th place, the McLaren 650S rounding out the top 5. Very good showing from the 650S with 160 points. Just shy of the top 5, the Porsche 911 GT3 RS. 1 point behind the McLaren at 159 points. Respectable, just didn't quite have the straight line speed of the others. 7th place, the Ferrari 458 Speciale. The benchmark for all cars is being slowly pushed lower and lower with 154 points. Cars are now going much faster than it. And yeah, the ex-champion is now starting to fall a little bit. Still a phenomenal piece of machinery. 8th place, the Lamborghini Huracan, 141 points. 9th place, the Viper ACR 2016. It struggled on the top speed and didn't do as well on the lap times as I thought it would. And I think that's what led to its measly 133 points. 10th place, the Audi R8 with 120 points. Kind of a meh car. Didn't get higher than 9th place at all any time. 11th place, the Nissan GTR. Did well in the top speed. Didn't do well in anything else after that. With 112 points. 12th place would go to the 570S. Cheaper than the McLaren's, kind of expected that it wouldn't do too well. 13th would go to the Corvette Z06. It is pretty old, it's 2 years old now. They're making the C8 version next year, I think. It's going to be mid-engine, which I'm not sure if I like the mid-engine idea. I think it's straying away from its roots a little too much from that. But maybe it'll make up for it in blisteringly fast speed. But the Corvette Z06 right now didn't do too well, 106 points. And finally, in last place, the Porsche 911 GT2 RS with a measly 103 points. Yeah, that car didn't fare too well. It was just bad. It's just too outclassed. It's 5 years old now. But yeah, the Lamborghini Aventador is our winner. Very capable car. I got to see it drive on the track. It is ridiculously fast on the track in real life. We decided to ride in the Huracan simply because the Aventador was $500 per 5 laps. The Huracan was $300. So there's a kind of a correlation between it. The reasons why we went for the Huracan, not the Aventador. But certainly a worthy victor. Didn't do too very well on Forza 6, but with the overall good results on all the boards, it certainly won its #1 spot. That is it, though, for this episode of Forza Horizon. We'll be back with more.